Hey guys, let's get more news from Steelers, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Michael Walker credits Aaron Curry for helping him get up to speed with Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin likes to point out the challenges of players trying to jump on a moving train in the middle of training camp, the preseason, and even during the season. This year, due to a number of injuries defensively, a handful of guys had to do just that for the Steelers. One player in particular, linebacker Michael Walker, was the first man up and had to move fast to get on the moving train after the Steelers lost linebackers Cole Holcomb and Quan Alexander to season-ending injuries in back-to-back weeks. It was a tough task going from the practice squad to the lineup in roughly 10 days, but Walker gives a lot of credit to inside linebackers coach Aaron Curry for helping him get up to speed and adjust to the Steelers system. Appearing on the Gaelic Gridiron podcast on YouTube, Walker had a ton of praise for his position coach. It wasn't the easiest thing in the world, jump on a moving train, coming to a team that already has a lot of things going for them, Walker said, according to video via the show's YouTube page. You come to a team like Pittsburgh, who has a lot of tradition, a lot of expectations, you kind of just have to hop on the train and get going. My linebacker coach, Aaron Curry, does a great job and I meet with him all the time. He's done a really good job of getting me up to speed and allowing me to play. I think I was only on practice squad for like 10 days before I got the starting job. So, I just really give a big shout out to my linebacker coach for getting me ready. The Steelers signed Walker to their practice squad on October 30th, adding depth and experience to the position group. They were out in front of the injury issues as Walker was signed ahead of the Week 8 matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Then, in Week 9 against the Tennessee Titans, Cole Holcomb went down with a knee injury, and in Week 10 Quan Alexander tore his Achilles, ending his season. That led to Walker being elevated into a starting role, which came with some ups and downs. He was still trying to jump onto the moving train, but thanks to coaching from Curry and meeting with him daily, Walker was able to hold down a role, even wearing a green dot at one point for the Steelers. On the year, Walker had 33 tackles in 8 games with the Steelers, starting 5 of them. He also had 2 tackles for loss, 2 passes defensed and 1 interception, which he returned 30 yards in the Week 14 matchup against the Patriots. He has a grade of 52.9 overall from Pro Football Focus entering the playoffs. Check out the full episode of the Gaelic Gridiron podcast with Walker below. Former Steelers coach among favorites for Commander's job. Former Pittsburgh Steelers senior defensive assistant Brian Flores hasn't been interviewed for any head coaching jobs to this point, but while he continues to wait for a call, he's being ranked amongst the favorites for a number of open jobs. To this point, Flores's best odds come with the Washington Commanders, where he has the 5th best odds to land their vacant head coach job at betonline.ag. At December 1st, Flores trails Ben Johnson, 3-1, Eric Bieniemy, Jim Harbaugh, 6-1, Bill Belichick, Bobby Slowick, Mike McDonald, 9/1, Anthony Weaver, and Todd Monken, 10/1. Flores's name is also on the odds list for other jobs, despite not being as favored. So far, he's on the betting lists for the Los Angeles Chargers, 33-1, Atlanta Falcons, 12-1, Carolina Panthers, 25-1, and Tennessee Titans, 25-1. In just a season as the Minnesota Vikings defensive coordinator, Flores turned a defense that ranked 29th in points allowed and 31st in yards allowed in 2022 into one that ranked 13th in points and 17th in yards this season. When Flores joined the Steelers, the assumption was he would be considered a top candidate in the 2022 coaching carousel. After a year with the Vikings, that may have grown, but he'll be competing with some prominent names like those listed above. Raiders free agents, RB Josh Jacobs. Las Vegas Raiders running back Josh Jacobs has been a focal point of Las Vegas offense since he was drafted by the Silver and Black in 2019. Jacobs rushed for 1,000 yards in 3 of his 5 seasons with the Raiders. In the other 2 seasons, including this past season, Jacobs rushed for over 800 yards while missing multiple games. Jacobs likely could have run for over 1,000 yards in 5 consecutive seasons without injury. Needless to say, Jacobs' free agency is a high priority. The Raiders used their franchise tag on Jacobs last offseason. Jacobs held out all of the previous offseason until signing his franchise tag tender, which paid him nearly $12 million. The Raiders again find themselves having to decide on the future of Jacobs, which will undoubtedly significantly impact their offense and their team moving forward. Jacobs finished this season with 805 rushing yards in 13 games. It marks the fewest games Jacobs has played in a season and his fewest rushing yards. Steelers is interested in hiring him if he become a free agent. The Raiders' issues on offense weren't solely or even mainly on Jacobs, as he ranked near the top of the league in rushing yards when he went down with an injury against the Minnesota Vikings. However, the struggles of the offense directly impacted Jacobs' effectiveness this season, especially early in the year before Las Vegas coaching change. Looking forward, the Raiders must consider many things when deciding what to do with Jacobs. The Raiders must consider how much money Jacobs is asking for compared to the league average pay for running backs. They'll have to consider Jacobs' usage, as he accounted for 80% of the team's rushes last year. Jacobs was on pace to finish this season with nearly 80% of the carries before his injury. Jacobs has accounted for over 50% of the team's carries every year of his professional career. Sooner or later, that usage will catch up to any player, especially at a position that takes as much physical contact as running back. The Raiders will, of course, also have to consider that they already have a younger and much cheaper running back on their roster in Zamir White. The second-year running back had a successful end to the season, becoming the first Raiders running back to rush for over 100 yards in 2 of their first games as the starting back. Las Vegas will also have to consider what to do at running back if they let Jacobs walk. Including Jacobs, 2 of the 4 running backs on Las Vegas' roster are set to become free agents. If they let one or both of them walk, they'll have to find other running backs to fill the void and help carry the load in addition to White. The Raiders' decision on Jacobs is arguably the most significant decision they will have to make regarding players on their roster who are set to become free agents. Ensure you follow on X, Twitter, at Hondo Carpenter and IG at Hondo Senior and never miss another breaking news story again. Sign up right here for our 100% free newsletter that comes thrice a week and delivers all our best stories. And you fan, what do you think of the Josh Jacobs situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.